One night she asked, "What if I slept with another man?" I said, "Then I'd leave you." She laughed and called me too emotional. So I walked away. Months later, the guy she replaced me with actually cheated and disappeared. I'm 34. I had been in a relationship with my girlfriend, Vanessa, for nearly a year. Things weren't perfect, but they were stable, or so I thought. One evening, we were sitting on the couch, watching a movie. Nothing seemed off. She was quiet, but that wasn't unusual after a long day. Then, out of nowhere, she muted the TV, turned to me, and said, "What would you do if I slept with another man?" It caught me completely off guard. Just that sentence hanging in the air. I looked at her, trying to process if I heard her right. "Why would you ask something like that?" I asked, genuinely confused. She shrugged, like it was no big deal. "It's just a test. I wanted to see what you'd say." I didn't respond immediately. I wasn't angry, just thrown. That kind of question doesn't feel like a joke. It feels like a window into something deeper. Finally, I said, "If you really loved me, that thought wouldn't even cross your mind. But if you actually did sleep with someone else, I'd walk away. No drama, no fight. Just gone." Her expression shifted. She wasn't expecting that. "You're too traditional," she said, almost annoyed. "You're acting like love is some old-fashioned deal where people never explore or test boundaries." I took a breath. "You think love means testing each other with hypothetical cheating?" She laughed nervously and waved it off like I was taking it too seriously. But I wasn't angry. I was clear. Then I flipped the question. "Okay, what if I slept with another woman?" She didn't even hesitate. "That's cheating. I'd leave you instantly." I just nodded. I didn't argue. But that moment stuck with me. The double standard was glaring. She expected me to be okay with her playing these emotional games, but couldn't handle the idea of me doing the same. And worse, she called it a test. What kind of relationship needs to test loyalty through threats of betrayal? That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking, was this how she saw love? As something to poke and prod at, just to see how much someone would take? In the morning, things were normal again. She acted like nothing had happened. Made coffee. Sent me a funny reel. But for me, something had changed. It's not that I thought she had cheated. I didn't. But the fact that she framed it like a what if meant she wanted to know how far she could push me. Or maybe, if she had already crossed a line, how forgiving I'd be. And the worst part? She didn't seem to understand why it bothered me. Or maybe she just didn't care. I wasn't looking for a perfect relationship. I knew everyone had flaws. But that moment, that question, it showed me something I couldn't ignore. Her version of love was a minefield of mind games. I started pulling back emotionally after that night. Not to punish her, just to protect myself. But I knew deep down, something was already broken. The following week felt strange. On the surface, nothing had changed. We still texted daily, still met for dinner, still exchanged goodnight calls. But under all of that, I was carrying the weight of what she'd said and how she responded when I flipped the question. It kept replaying in my head. "It's just a test. That's cheating." One night, we were at her apartment. She was cooking dinner while scrolling on her phone, half listening to a podcast. I watched her, wondering how someone could be so casual after planting that kind of doubt. I finally said, "Can we talk?" She looked up, surprised by my tone. "Sure. What's up?" I didn't dance around it. "I've been thinking about what you asked me the other day, about sleeping with someone else. The way you framed it as a test, that's been sitting with me." She raised an eyebrow, but didn't say anything. I continued, "If you feel the need to test me with something like that, I don't think we're on the same page. I don't want to be in a relationship where loyalty is a game or a trick question." Her smile faded. "Are you being serious right now?" "Yeah," I said. "Dead serious." She rolled her eyes and leaned against the counter. "I told you it was a joke. Why are you taking it so literally?" I nodded slowly. "Because I don't think you were joking. And even if you were, it says something about how you view relationships. You want me to be okay with the idea of you sleeping with someone else, just to prove I love you? But if the roles were reversed, you'd call it cheating." "That's not fair," she snapped. "That's not what I meant. But that's what you said. And honestly, if I said something like that to you, even as a joke, you'd lose it. You'd say it's disrespectful, and you'd be right." She went quiet, arms crossed, jaw tight. "So what now? You're just going to throw everything away over one stupid comment?" I shook my head. "It's not just one comment. It's what that comment revealed." She looked stunned, like she genuinely thought this was going to blow over. Then she tried to backtrack. Her voice softened. "Okay, I'm sorry. It was dumb, I get it. But are you seriously going to walk away over this?" "Yes," I said. That word hung in the room like a sharp breath. "I don't want to be with someone who plays with trust. That's not love to me. It's not even close." She walked over and grabbed my hand, trying to hold it, trying to smile again like none of this mattered. "Come on. I was joking. You're overthinking it." I gently pulled my hand away. "No, you weren't joking. You were testing. And I failed your test, but passed my own." She stood there frozen, unsure what to say. For the first time since we met, I saw her without the filters. No charm, no quick comebacks. Just a stunned silence. I picked up my keys, opened the door, and turned to her one last time. Find someone who sees the world the way you do. I hope it works out better next time. And I left. I didn't expect to hear from her again. And I didn't go looking, either. After I left that night, I spent a few weeks just keeping to myself. Deleted our photos, cleared the chats, unfollowed her on socials. It wasn't anger. I just wanted to move forward with clarity. No ghost of the past tugging at my attention. But the world has its own way of circling back. About 3 months later, I was out with a couple of mutual friends. We were catching up over drinks when one of them brought up Vanessa casually. Like her name still meant nothing to me. I didn't flinch. I just listened. Apparently, right after we ended things, she started seeing someone new. Some guy she'd been texting before things ended with me. No surprise there. But what did surprise me was what happened next. He cheated on her, my friend said, sipping his beer. She was a wreck. Called me crying one night. Said he stopped replying to her texts out of nowhere. Just disappeared. Another friend chimed in. She said he made her feel used. Like he was never serious to begin with. I didn't say much. Just nodded and listened. It wasn't satisfaction I felt. Not even revenge. More like validation. This was the very thing she used as a game on me. A test. And now here she was, faced with the real version. Only this time, there was no question to ask. It just happened to her. No warning. No hypotheticals. And the man who cheated on her? He didn't sit down and talk it through. He didn't explain his values. He didn't walk away with closure. He ghosted her. Cold. That's the kind of emotional chaos she once thought was entertaining enough to pretend about. I didn't reach out. I didn't text her some told you so message. She made her choices. I made mine. And even though we walked different paths, it's clear where they led us. Later, I found out she tried reaching out to a few people, asking if I was seeing someone. Someone even told me she had said he was actually a good guy. I just didn't see it at the time. I didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. Sometimes life doesn't hand out punishment. It just lets people live out the consequences of their own thinking. The mindset she once defended, the games she once played, they came back in the real world, without the safety net of a just joking. And me? I've moved on. I don't carry bitterness, just clarity. I've learned that emotional maturity isn't about passing someone else's tests. It's about choosing someone who doesn't feel the need to test you at all. I'm in a better place now. More grounded, more aware of what I need, and what I won't tolerate. But sometimes I still think about that night. The way she asked that question. The way she laughed, then panicked when I took it seriously. What kind of person sees love as a game of traps? Anyway, that's my story. I appreciate you watching till the end. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more content.